Hey everybody, this is Strategywizard again. Today I'm going to continue my series on introducing the board game hobby to newbies who don't have a lot of experience, knowledge, or maybe they're just a little nervous about the massive variety and not wanting to waste their money on things that they don't really know what they're getting into. And I can't blame you, because whenever I first started, I only started because I thought, you know what, it'd be cool to have some board games to play with my family, and I bought something that didn't really know much about. I just went on Amazon, saw it had good reviews, I bought it, and I liked it, and I thought, wow, this is different than what I'm used to. Maybe I'll look and see if there's something else. And as my curiosity became piqued, I started doing more research and found out more and more and more. And I went, wow, there's so much out here. I could not have imagined just how much there was available. So one thing that it would have been nice if I had at the very beginning would have been knowledge about BoardGameGeek.com. This website is very, very helpful. So what do you get here? Well, there's a lot of stuff on the front page that I don't really use as much, but there is some cool stuff here, announcements of different things and contests and whatnot. Shows you what you've recently been doing. Viewing on this website and what's popular, active right now. So that's useful, but what's really important are these search features. So let's say you want to go to browse. There's all kinds of options of what you can browse, and you can even browse by designers. And like I said in the first video, designer board games are where it's at right now, because these people whose job is to design board games, they have a certain style to them. You end up realizing, like I said, just like movies, a movie director, you find ones that you like, and here you find board game designers that you like their style, and so that's really important. So, but in this case, we're just going to go ahead and click on games, and that way we can see everything. This will have every single game, and as you can see, there's 100 board games on each page. Goes all the way from 1 all the way down here to 100. So the top 100 are right here, and you'll notice there's 983 pages. So there's an unbelievably large number of board games on their database. So pretty much anything you ever find on Amazon or Miniature Market, wherever you want to go to try to find your games, they're going to have it in here almost without a doubt. So let's just say you're looking on this and you go, wow, board game rank, this is #1. This is out of all these thousands of board games, the Gloomhaven is #1. Well, you might be thinking, in that case, it's got to be a good game. I've got to get it. Now, you can see that, and of course, I'm kind of giving away something here. I've already rated it. This shows what I've rated it. I've rated it a 10, so you already know that I really like it. I'm still going to do a review of it at some point because I want to talk about what makes the game so good. But the point is, this is another great way to keep track of your ratings of games, what your collection is, if you ever get to that point. But for me, I like it because it is nice to be able to have a collection that you can just quickly see and go through and leave your comments and reviews. And you'll see that people do review. 14,478 people have reviewed Gloomhaven on Board Game Geek, giving it an average rating of 9. So obviously, most people agree that this game is really, really good. And then you have the Geek rating, which uses some kind of formula to basically say if the fewer people who have reviewed it, it kind of bumps the rating down. The more people who have reviewed it, it gets closer and closer to being exactly the same. And as you can see here, 30,000 people reviewed this, and the Geek rating and the average rating are very close. So the more they basically just make it to where, you know, people who are being biased can't skew it if there's just a few less people reviewing it. But the point is, this is a quick way to say, okay, this is what people are saying about a given game. You can see what the most popular games are, and there's just so many options. And this is something that and there's, of course, War of the Ring, which I reviewed, 2nd edition. I gave it a 7. And as you can see, that this is a very powerful tool, very powerful for just seeing what's out there, what's popular. But again, just because these people like it doesn't mean you're going to like it, so you're going to want more information. How do you know if this is a game you're going to enjoy? Well, there's a few things you can do. One, you can click on Gloomhaven, and you can actually look and see some more information. It tells you what the playtime is. It tells you what the community thinks is how many players you should play with. It's 1 to 4 players. Technically, the community says, let's just click on this. The community says that, you know, 1 through 4 is good, but it's best with 3. So that's a great way to get an idea of, okay, I have this many players. Is this the kind of game that's good for my group? In this case, you can even play it with one player, which if you want to have a solo game, well, here you go. This is solo. It'll tell you the age expectation that they have, the weight, which is how complicated it is. So if you're new to gaming, you probably don't want to do something that's up at the 3.76 level. I mean, you're starting to get into more complexity. So that's one really handy-dandy thing for finding out, hey, is this something that's too much for me or not? It's just, of course, it may not be 100% accurate for you because you might be better at certain things than other people, but still, this gives you a great general idea. It's a relatively long game, relatively complex, but it's good for 1 to 4 players. And you can see different pictures of the game, so you can get an idea of what comes in it. You can see pictures of the cards, what they look like, and the different artwork, and there's a lot of interesting artwork in this game. It's very, very impressive, to be honest. So you can see a lot of cool stuff there. That's helpful. But then, let's say you're like, well, that doesn't really tell me if I like the game. Well, that's true. So it just gave you just a general idea. So you can get a general description of the game here, and that'll give you an idea of what's going on in the game. You can also come down here and you can see videos. So people review. You'll notice we have Shut Up and Sit Down. They're a popular board game reviewer from Great Britain. They've got a Gloomhaven review. You've got, and you'll notice, where does it say? Oh, there's 363 videos on Board Game Geek about Gloomhaven. So you will be able to find everything that you need. So let's just click on that and just see some of these. We've got tons and tons and tons. All these different videos. It's just unbelievable how many. And you find a video that you think you want to watch and see what they say. And hey, Game Boy Geek over here, I know him. And different languages even. We've got some Spanish over here. So there's lots and lots of options. Oh, even painting the miniatures, painting with Rob Live, Gloomhaven. So if you want to know, if you get interested in painting your miniatures, then you can even come check videos on that. So you have tons of videos that'll review it. But you even have people who just do basic text reviews. So I think it'll show you here if it's a video or not with that little video icon. So let's see, the best things about Gloomhaven, what Gloomhaven gets wrong. You can see all these different people's opinion to get an idea of how the game works. Would you like it? And then you have one of the most useful things, which is the forums. You have a lot of different threads. You'll notice there's 7,657 threads right now for Gloomhaven. Here you can find people asking questions for how to play, rules, issues, or they're talking about, trying to get opinions on how to play the game the best, how to be effective. I mean, there's so much. So, I mean, let's just hit this so we can just see what we've got here. They ask just some questions. Looting, a specific question. Plunder, a question. Well, the thing is, you can also, there's a way you can use this little search function, and you can search for specific things to see if something's already been asked that you're wondering about. And typically, people here respond pretty quickly. It's not very often that you'll ask a question unless it's a very unpopular game or something that's not really getting a lot of activity. But generally speaking, most games, somebody will come by and answer your question unless it's just a really, really old game. But even then, even if chances are your question has already been asked, so you can find the answers. So you might have been going into this whole thing thinking, wow, these games can be so complicated. The instruction booklets are 30 pages. That's true, and maybe that's a little intimidating, but you have a lot of help because you can find how to play videos on Board Game Geek. You can find specific questions being answered. You can get all of that answered somewhere. You can find out things way more easily than you might think. So I would not let that intimidate you so much. So you have all of that wonderfulness. You've got, let's see, I think there's anything else here that we want to see. Oh yeah, there's files that people post. Sometimes they actually make their own player aids. That way, maybe people think, a certain board game doesn't have a rules reference or a quick, easy access to specific, hard-to-remember rules. People will make them sometimes for some of these games, and you can go print them off and just have something that makes it even easier to play. So the user friendliness is impressive in this hobby. People like to work together and help each other a lot, so I really enjoy that aspect. I've found some player aids very, very impressive on here. So that's Board Game Geek gives you all of that awesomeness. Now, also, one thing that I like, let's go back a little bit. I find this to be very, very useful if you're trying to find things of a certain category. Let's say you want to go to, let's go to search. Let's just go to advanced search here. You can search by title if you know something in particular. You can search by designer and publisher and everything. Not sure why it's grayed out, but I don't know what that's about. But anyway, your published range, if you have a time frame that you're looking for something, you can search for minimum age if you want to do purposely include things that are for younger kids, or if you want to purposely search for things that are more complicated that older people would be playing. You can search for average user rating and average gameplay weight range. That's to search for things of a given complexity. And so many options of what you can filter for, but you can even search by board game mechanic, which is amazing. I mean, acting is a board game mechanic, so for certain things like, I guess, the equivalent of games that use stuff like charades or something else where you're acting out certain things. Area enclosure, area movement, betting and wagering. There's so many different ones. Dice rolling, deck or pool building, hand management. All these different categories. This is a great way for you to get an idea of what kind of mechanics are out there. And you'll find, wow, there's tons. There's so many. And basically, this is a good way to get an idea of, hey, you can see something that you think, oh, that sounds exciting, like set collection. Set collection is actually fairly popular, I guess, in some more traditional games, like spades and stuff like that. I guess you'd consider that set collection. But there's a lot of new ones that you can try that have more theme, more depth, and that kind of thing. You've got take that games where you're purposely trying to attack each other and hurt each other. It's amazing, just a variety. Grid movement, line drawing, paper and pencil, pattern recognition. I mean, you name it, we've got it. So that's powerful. You can also subdomain, abstract, family, thematic, children's games, party games, war games. So this is more generic, and so if you don't know specifically what kind of mechanic you want, you can look here for something more general. And then categories. This is amazing because this gives you a lot of the different themes. You go from post-Napoleonic. I mean, that's a pretty specific theme, but it's here. You've got religious, you've got space exploration, you've got travel, party games, negotiation. I mean, it's just mind-blowing. I mean, Age of Reason. I mean, let's just go to Age of Reason. I mean, how many games could there be of that fall under that category? Well, we're fixing to find out. Oh, after I hit submit. That might be helpful. Okay. A Few Acres of Snow, Spirit Island, St. Petersburg, Struggle of Empires, Maria, Washington's War, Friedrich. I mean, wow. Look at all these. Look at all these games. Tons and tons of games that are on in the list of the Age of Reason. It just blows the mind, really. Gosh, there's so many. And then we have 4 pages. There's, I guess, 100 listed, and then there's 4 pages. So tons. That just goes to show you how much variety there is out there. The fact that the Age of Reason could have this many is unbelievable. Of course, once you've done this, you can, right now I think it's sorted, I don't know how it's sorted actually, but let's say you want to do it by board game rank. You can find what game has the highest rating in this category. So we can find, okay, Spirit Island is the highest, and it's rank 51 for all board games. That's pretty impressive. And then you have Rococo, you've got St. Petersburg, and you can see here quickly where it ranks. Now, don't get afraid when you see things down in the 200 range or 300 range. That doesn't mean you're not going to like it. I mean, people, you might see that and go, oh my gosh, if it's that low, it can't be any good. But that's not the case. I mean, let's just take one that has a good number of views. Okay, let's do St. Petersburg 2nd edition. It's pretty low, but even being rank overall 477, and in the category of strategy it's ranked 249, that seems pretty low, but the average rating is 7.6. That's still good. And if we actually click over here, where's that? Oh, 2,000 ratings. If we look here, you will see the breakdown of what people rate. 109 people have given this a 10. So don't let the overall ranking make you think, okay, this game can't be good. It's a general idea of the overall feeling that people have, but the point is there's so many thousands of games that even whenever you're down to place 500, you still have a lot of people liking it. I mean, in this case, look, 845 people gave it an 8, and very few people gave it a bad rating. So obviously there's nothing to worry about. It's amazing, just the variety. So use this as a tool also to get an idea of if it's something that's popular or not. And don't forget, of course, that the geek rating, it gets lowered because maybe not so many people have rated it, so that can skew things too. Keep that in mind. But this tool is just so powerful. So hopefully this gave you an idea of how you can use this website to help you find what you want. You know, you can browse all these different categories. You can use the advanced search to look for specific game mechanics that you might like, or category, genre. You know, they have horror and farming, exploration. You can find things that match a theme that you like. You can find things that last a certain amount of time. If you know you like short or long, if you like complex, you can purposely search for that. This is a super powerful tool. Please use it as much as possible, because it will help you a lot. You will find the questions answered that I'm telling you, you think of a question, it's probably been asked, and it's all available right here. So hopefully that helps a lot. The only other thing I want to add is that if you want something quick, instead of having to go to Board Game Geek, you can quickly go over to YouTube, search for, let's say you want to look up Gloomhaven, look up Gloomhaven review. You can find all these different reviews that people have done of any game that you search for, and very, very helpful, very, very helpful, and quick way to find out if you'd like it or not. So YouTube is great, but a lot and maybe even most of these videos are going to be on Board Game Geek already in the video section of whatever game you look up. Please use this tool. It will help you. I don't want anybody coming into the hobby and buying things they don't like, so you have enough information here. The information is out there. Find it, use it. Hopefully you found this video helpful, and in the meantime, I appreciate you watching, and I will see you on the next one. Take care. Bye.